everyone. Welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Chari Hinete Elon. Today, we're going to talk about shifting careers and how you navigate the changes in your life, whether they're expected or unexpected. And so, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please hit that bell button so that you'll be notified each time I have a new episode. Also, we're streaming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please follow me on both apps. And now I'm happy to introduce to you my guests. First, let's start with my first cousin. She likes to be called Rie. Rie was a preschool teacher in a private school for 10 years. She had her bachelor's degree in special education and her master in early childhood education. Currently, she is now a virtual assistant in real estate and property management. She also continues to make training materials for nonprofit organizations. Welcome to Life Expressions, Rie.
Hi, Manang Chari. It's good to be here. Thanks for inviting us to be here.
I'm happy that you're here with me on Life Expressions. And our next guest is a content producer. He is Ponky. Ponky is a former ESL or English as a second language teacher in Bangkok. He calls himself the guy that has too many buttons. None of them work. We'll know how he says that about himself. Hi, Ponky. Welcome to Life Expressions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Glad to be here.
I'm glad that you're both here with me. By the way, I also guested on their podcast, and your podcast is called
Weekend thoughts.
Awesome Weekend Thoughts. But so today is all about the two of you. Ree, as your brief bio says, that you shifted from being a private school teacher, preschool teacher, to a virtual assistant. How and why did you decide to shift careers?
So, first and foremost, I decided to shift my career because I've been teaching for 10 years. So, it has become very familiar, it has become very comfortable, and I wanted to see the world out there. I mean, see what else is to learn, I want to expand my horizons and meet different people from different walks of life. And apart from that, I wanted to earn more. I want to earn more. Although teaching is a very fulfilling job. It it's like a passion. It's a calling. Maybe I just got to a point that I was burned out, and it made me realize that maybe I should try exploring other options. And because of that, being burned out, um feeling like maybe I should try to shift my career, I took a leap of faith and tried to apply as a virtual assistant. And to tell you the truth, shifting careers is a very difficult decision, especially, when you've become very familiar of what you've been doing for 10 years. You know how to do it with eyes closed.
Yeah.
But it's a big leap of faith, but as what they say, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. You will never
Yeah.
know what you're capable of unless you try. And I tried. Thank God I'm here. So
But
yeah.
there are many other options. There are many careers that you could shift to. Why did you choose
Mhm.
being a virtual assistant?
Well, I chose to be a virtual assistant because that's, for me, during that time, that was the easiest way, the easiest path. The way that I can stay home, stay in the Philippines, be close to my mom whenever she needs me, be accessible, and it costed less. You know, it costs less. All you need to do is just use your laptop, study, and really understand what you need. You have to self learn. So I decided that, I want to shift my career. I want to earn more, but I don't want to spend, because if I would decide to, like, venture abroad and try to apply as a teacher as well. Number one, I wanted to try a career that's not related to teaching. And then number two, if you try applying abroad, it will really cost. I mean,
Yeah.
it will you will have to spend. You have to spend for the requirements, for those kinds of things. You really have to spend out money. And during that time when I took a leave and tried to discern things, I was challenged financially when my dog got sick. And my dog is like my baby. And
Okay.
I had to spend there. I had to spend money for her surgery, for her recovery, and things like that. So to make the story short, I chose the virtual assistant career because number one, it's easy. Not easy that you can find a job easily, but it's accessible, and I won't have to spend to get a job, if you know what I mean. So
Yes.
that's
And
why.
yeah, for how long have you been a virtual assistant?
I've been a virtual assistant for 2 years now.
Okay. And so has it been more rewarding compared to being a preschool teacher so far?
Nothing beats being a preschool teacher, that's for sure. Because,
But
Ponky
yeah,
knows that when you're
yeah,
a teacher, you'll always be a teacher.
yeah,
Wherever you go, you're always going to be a teacher. I miss being a teacher, and today is Teachers Day.
yeah.
So,
Oh, happy Teachers Day to all of us because I have been a teacher too. But
yeah,
like, has it been financially rewarding compared to being a
financially
preschool
rewarding.
teacher?
Yes, most definitely. It's much more rewarding. You are well compensated. The downside is you're at home all the time, limited social interaction. I mean, physical social interaction, and what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. But the fulfillment you get from teaching children, that's priceless. I miss
Yes.
that, but I'm alipin to salapi. Or what they say,
For
I
now,
want
I
to
hope.
earn money for
Only for
now.
now.
For now.
Yes.
Yes, for
Yeah.
now. Yes. It's a phase. So yeah.
Ponkies was also an ESL teacher. Now you're a content producer. What happened and why did you shift careers, Ponky?
All right. So I want to take you all back 2022 in Bangkok, Thailand. So um, I resigned in my first school and applied for another. So I got accepted, and well, things didn't work real well. I mean, intrinsically. So it was a battle between Ponky and Ponky, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved what I was doing in my new school with a better pay. Then, but I was alone. Um, my then girlfriend, now fiance, went back here, repatriated. So I was like alone. Hmm. And every day when I woke up, I drove myself to that new school. I was thinking like, is this really the life I wanted? Sometimes I kind of like bang my head against the wall and think like, oh man, I wish I could get a breather. But you know, let's say breather means having more flexi time for my own.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, there were days when I really questioned myself. Is this really the life I wanted? Now that I'm alone, now that I have my own house and car, now that I have a better school with a better pay, is this really the life I wanted? Am I going to teach again in the next phase of my career? And so that kind of like sparked my the all these virtual assistant career shift thing. And I tried to apply, and the rest was history. But to give you more details to that, here's what happened. I really didn't take that seriously. I didn't take the VA application seriously. I was just like, well, wherever this brings me, then okay. So I bought a new webcam. I set my things up and all that. All the requirements I gave them all to the recruiter. And after a week, I was in the new school. I was teaching. It was lunch break. There was a call. I got a call, and I was like, Alex wants to um do an interview with you. I was like, oh, something's happening.
Mhm.
And I took it. He liked me among what, four interviews that he did with other VAs. So I was the one he chose. And I was like, is this for real? Oh, damn. He told me the pay. Sorry. He laid out the pay. And I was like, can I swear? I was like, holy
Of
giggles.
course.
It was really promising, financially promising. I mean, well, the compensation was really good that I could go back home to the Philippines
Yeah.
and, just work things out there. Here, sorry. And so I chose that.
Mhm.
And for me, looking back, it was more of like the VA career chose me than me choosing
Choosing
that
it.
VA career, because I really didn't, expect that to happen. Now
Yeah.
I'm on my third year with Alex, and things have been very, very good. I'm very fortunate that uh, you know he retained me as one of his guys and all that. So yeah, that's pretty
Alex
much
is
it, though.
Alex is your client, and what
Yes,
specifically, what kind of business is he in? Perhaps there is something in you that he chose you over the three others whom he has interviewed, and even if you're new to being a virtual assistant. So, what is the specific skill that he was looking for?
yeah. Initially, Alex wanted an executive assistant, basically just someone who does the cleanup, you know, of all his messes. Airline booking, hotel booking, um, email organization, calendar blocking and everything. Basically the Robin. I'm the Robin. He's the Batman,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So he needed that. He needed that guy or that VA, that kind of VA. So I played that role for like what, almost a year, and then he shifted um business model. So he recruited me to that new company, and he was like, "What do you enjoy doing? Here's the list, or here's the nature of the new business." And I was like, you know what? I love producing content. I can um I can do this, I can do that. I love producing live events and all that, live virtual events. And he was like, right, brilliant. So can you do this? Can you do that? And I was like, yeah. That's pretty much very close to what I'm currently doing with one of my colleagues, which is Des. I do podcasts. And he was like, oh, that's brilliant. Okay. So I want you to become be a content producer in my new company. And I was like, well, damned if I don't, right? So
Yeah.
the rest was history, and I'm loving what I'm doing right now. So everything is nothing but a blessing.
Well, that's great. That's great to know. For the both of you, what do you think is the most important skill or preparation that you need to have to excel in this virtual assistant career path? Ree?
You have to be self-reliant. You have to be innovative, and you must know how to find solutions. That's that's a lot. But basically, the word self-reliant encapsulates everything. You have to do things on your own, you have to study on your own, you have to work hard on it, because These things are not handed to you easily. You have to fight for it, you have to work for it. And right now, the virtual assistant world is getting a bit saturated.
Yeah.
So you have to make yourself stand out. You have to stand out, but at the same time, you have to be yourself. And I believe that regardless of how many clients, how many opportunities that there are, how many rejections or opportunities that you get, there's always that client who is really meant for you. You'll always find that as long as you don't give up. So you just really have to be self reliant, and the rest will just fall into place.
And do you have one, two, three? How many clients do you have?
I have two. I have two
Okay.
clients.
Yes. And I bet the schedule is erratic. It's not regular. You've got to be very flexible.
Well, my first client is a full time, so
Mhm.
that's that's scheduled. That
Okay.
is a specific schedule. The other one is a flexible.
Mhm.
So the important thing is I am able to finish the projects, the materials.
Output based, right?
Output based. Yes, perfect.
Lucky
That's the
you.
word. Output based. Thank you,
Okay.
Lord. Thank you,
Oh
Lord, for
Yes.
that
man.
output based. No
Yeah.
tracker, as long
You're
as the
right.
output
Every
is
VA's
great.
dream, right?
Oh,
I
Every
know, but
VA's
it's
dream
part
client.
time. It's part
Hmm.
time, but I love that client. I love both of my clients. I'm very blessed with them. It sometimes it gets busy, but God is good. Being busy is a blessing, right, Ponky?
Yep,
yeah.
it gives you a purpose,
True.
right? Sense of purpose. I
True.
love that
Yeah.
feeling.
Yes, yes. And especially if you're doing meaningful work and you know that what you're doing is actually helping your client. Ponky, so what do you think is the most important skill? It could be more than one, of course, to excel
Well,
in
for
your.
me, the most important skill that I currently practice
Yeah.
right now is being on top of everything. So that means there's a lot of you know, initiative work that goes along with it. So that, you know, that also relates to being self-reliant and all that. You have to be very resourceful with, you know, the things that you need to do, and at the same time being very efficient in your in your craft.
Mhm.
So you know, along with, you know, self-reliance, it sometimes it takes you know, it takes time when you're self-reliant, when you're when you tend to do things on your own, and you try to figure things out. You know, the figuring things out, you know, tends to take more time than necessary, right? So efficiency comes in. So when you when there's a blocker, who not how, that's a book,
Mhm.
that's a famous book in the US
Yeah.
that Alex and some of his colleagues always remind me or throw me like, hey, read this. So who not
Yeah.
how basically is ask people when you have a blocker, when you don't know something, ask people, then spend hours trying to figure out,
Yeah.
you know. um well, they just pretty much threw you know, throw that to me constantly, because sometimes I have a lot of blunders and blockers, you know, in my process. So um they always tell me like, what was that, their term is, if there are detours and you can't seem to figure out what's going on, Francis, don't hesitate to harass us. So that's their term, harass us. So
Yeah.
like spam their inbox and all that.
Mhm.
Like, hey, how do you do this? You know, our guest isn't responding. He might be busy. Can you text him? You know, they just want you. They just want me to be as, you know, as flexy as possible.
Yeah.
Being self-reliant and being efficient.
But what are the major challenges that you have faced so far and hopefully have already overcome in this career?
and my client was throwing bricks at me. Ooh, those were sharp. And I was like
Yes.
4 months in.
Hmm. Oh my,
Right.
good
That
thing
was
you
2 years ago.
weren't fired.
Yeah. Usually they just
Man,
fire you
How did
away.
how did you how did you overcome that? How did you call him off? Like, hey, everything is gonna be fine, even if you forgot that task.
I, I don't know. He had all the reasons to kick
Mhm.
me off,
Yeah.
but he just kind of like did a hard reprimand and blessing. Thank
Mm.
God. All up to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just to connect with that on a
Yes.
personal insight, um, despite everything, that had happened. There were multiple times that
Yeah.
I was the blunder in the process.
Hmm.
It, and I'm still here with Alex. He still works with we still work together, um, and he you know gives me this very um, you know light demeanor after all.
Yeah.
So it's nothing but a blessing. It's nothing but a blessing. And let me just quote one very short, powerful quote um, from one of my Lodi, right? One of my
Yeah.
um, one of the captains of American Airlines, Captain Philip Stromer. He says, "If
Mhm.
you're blessed, be a blessing." So a part of what I get here in my career goes to the hungry out there. So I
Yeah.
just
Oh, that's
randomly
very
feed
good.
them.
Yeah, that's
I
very
love that
good.
work.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you bless, the outpouring of blessings also come back to you, right? But you do not actually expect anything in return. Just to give makes you feel good already. Ree, how
Oh
about
man.
you? Was there any a time in your being a virtual assistant that has really challenged you?
Every day is a challenge. Every day is just like that for me. Let's just say my personality, I worry a
Yeah.
lot. Complicate simple things because I worry a lot. Like I cannot just take point A as point A. There's
Mhm.
point A, point one, point A, point two. What if point A becomes like this? And what if this one becomes like this? What should I do? How can I prepare? I am so proactive, or I worry a lot on what's going to happen if A doesn't work. What should we do with plan B? What should we do with plan C? And then they go like, "Stop. Focus. Focus on plan A. And if it doesn't work, that's the time we work with plan B." But for me, my mind doesn't work that way. So it's a constant challenge every day to really focus and try to be uh positive about things, because in my experience, things are really challenging, and sometimes the work is very demanding, and
Mhm.
you really have to manage your time. And there are a lot of challenges that come your way, and sometimes you don't predict what's going to happen today, what's going to happen
Yeah.
tomorrow. And I also had this experience in one of my previous clients, that I logged in that day, and then 2 hours in, we were all logged out. And then the next thing I know, okay, that's the end of your contract. Goodbye.
Oh,
Yes. So
how did that happen? Yeah.
that's how unpredictable this world is. So that's
Yeah.
the challenge. And because it's so unpredictable, it makes me worry a lot. But I am working on that. Like
Mhm.
being a worrier, being an overthinker, and it's a challenge for myself, because remember I told you that there was this time that I had financial crisis, and I don't want that to happen again. I want to be extra sure. I want to have emergency savings.
Yeah.
I want to be sure. I don't want to I don't want to be broke, you know.
Yeah.
I want to be self-reliant. So because I'm avoiding that to happen, I worry not to get there. So that's the challenge.
So what do you
But
do? What are the things that you do to help yourself not to worry?
I try to think of my thoughts like water. It's
Okay.
thoughts are
Yeah.
water. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can't control
Flows.
them.
Yeah.
But you have the power to put them together. Like you have the power to arrange them or like structure them to make it beneficial for you. So just like what they do in irrigation, right? Like
Yeah.
water, you have to control how the water flows. So that's what I'm trying to do. When I'm beginning to overthink, when I'm beginning to complicate things, I tell myself, no,
Yeah.
I'm complicating things. I should focus on the now. I must not
Yeah.
overthink. I must not make things complicated. And also, to help myself, I meditate daily.
Very good. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I read a book. Currently, I'm reading The Daily Stoic. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
read that.
Sounds
I
interesting.
spend
Yeah.
like 10 to 15 minutes a day reading the book, and then I try to journal with it side by side. Like, okay, the passage for today is something like this. And then
Yeah.
I reflect and try to connect it with my experience with the day during the day, or try to connect it with my previous experience. And the challenge is to imbibe it and
Yeah.
practice it daily. It's easy to read, it's easy
Yeah.
to remember, it's easy to understand, but it's difficult to put it to heart
That is true. And live it.
and live it. So that's a
Yes.
challenge, and that I read a lot of self-help books now. If you only know,
Okay.
like I'm building a bookshelf of self-help books
Oh,
because
that's
I
very
I
good. That's
want
very helpful. Yeah.
yeah, because I wanted to help me. I want to help myself from overthinking and complicating things. So
You are already on the right track because you know the issue and you're doing something about it and you're being
Right.
proactive about it. Acknowledging that that is an issue with you is already a great step. And doing
Right.
something about it will truly, truly help you. I would
Right.
just like to mention about journaling. One of the things that I've learned as well is that when you journal, especially at night, is that you can write if you have a chance to relive today, what will you do? That's one thing that you can answer. Another point is like maybe you can answer what are the three things that you're most grateful for? So that's one way as well of great journaling. But going back to shifting careers for the both of you, do you think you're going to stay in this career for a while, or you're already thinking of, oh, I can do something else apart from being a virtual assistant, or you're going to do this uh, lifelong career? Let's start with you, Honky.
Ree knows the answer. She's smirking right now.
you answer first, Funky.
Yeah. Of course, I would love to explore more things. Life is too short not to, you know, experience what life has to offer, right?
Yeah,
Um, I know this entire um freelance work is temporary, some in some ways. Um, this is even considered as a gig economy, you know, gig economy work. But for me, I am going to use this current career of mine, as a stepping stone to another better venture, and which is to become a pilot. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean it's a reasonable step to to achieving that one, because being a pilot requires tons of cash, you know, and you know this current um career that Rie and I are currently on um gives us the better financial freedom, let's face it, than we were as teachers. So this would finance us more on doing a lot more possible things that
yeah.
we would want. So I would love to explore more stuff. I can see myself not doing freelance work in the next 20 years. But for now, I'm enjoying every single bump and every single ups and downs, because this, this is pretty much what propels me to um, move forward to the next venture.
That's great. And I look forward to flying in a plane where you are the pilot. Yeah, I see that happening. You are
Oh
what
man,
you
thank
think.
you.
You become what you think most of the time. Let's go to you, Ree.
I don't have a plan. I used to have a plan. Nah, just kidding. I want to plan everything, but
Yeah.
you really can't plan these kinds of things because 5 years ago, I never expected that I'd be shifting careers.
Makes
5 years
sense.
ago, I didn't expect that I'd be baking. And like
Now you're
when I was
baking.
younger, I never expected to be a teacher. I didn't expect to be a freelancer. I didn't
Mhm.
expect to do podcasts.
And I
Maybe
miss
one
your
day I'll
cookies.
oh yeah. Maybe one day I'll become a Hollywood star, who knows?
Why
Just
not?
why not? I'm just kidding. But I just take it one day at a time. But
I like
to be
that.
honest, I don't see myself getting old in this profession.
Mhm.
Although
Yeah,
yes, it pays well. It can help you retire early if you manage your finances well, if
yeah,
you're wise and invest in a lot of things while money is coming. You can start a business, you can do real estate, you can do stock marketing, or you can just take it one day at a time.
yeah.
So, just to answer your question, I do not have a plan. I don't know what's going to happen, but for sure, I don't know. I don't think I'll stay here for in the next like 10 to 15 years
Que
cuz
sera, sera.
I miss sleeping at night. I mean sleeping at night, graveyard shifts. I miss sleeping at night.
Chris,
I'm not complaining, but I do miss sleeping at night. I just take it one step at a time. I don't know where God brings me, and I just
yeah,
trust the process.
yeah,
And what guides me in these kinds of decisions, I make these random brave decisions and
yeah,
I don't even think about them. I don't even think about them. But I always pray. I always pray to God that,
yeah,
to guide me, to give me strength and
yeah.
help me go through the obstacles or challenges that come my way. So you can't ask God to make life easier for you because it doesn't work that way. You have to pray to have the strength and wisdom to do the right decision.
I
And
respect that. Yeah,
yes, and one more thing that guides me to wherever life takes me is I always remember my values, my virtues, and who I am as a person. What what is important to me.
yeah,
So before I make a decision, I will reflect, is this something that aligns with my virtue or
mhm,
my core values? And if it's
yeah,
not, then I don't. That's
yeah.
my guiding principle.
That is very
And yeah.
good. Yeah,
Mm.
I agree with that because even if you really do not have a plan, but if you know your why, you know your reason for being, and what you're doing aligns with your purpose, still you are guided each step of the way, whatever career that is that you're doing, whatever it is that's going to happen to your career and your personal and professional lives. What's important is you know your purpose and what you're doing aligns with your purpose. Yeah.
I agree.
Your,
Mhm.
your final thoughts on shifting careers, on navigating changes, and making sure that whatever happens, you have the grit and the tenacity to succeed and excel in whatever you do. Talk to our audience now.
Shifting careers is takes a lot of courage. But if you have a goal, you should find it. And shifting careers is not going to be easy, and accept that you will not be good at the beginning. Understand, be humble, have the the confident humility. Confident humility, it means you're confident that you have the skills and talent to get to where you are, but humble enough to be teachable. So
Mm-hmm.
when you shift careers, for example, me, I shifted from being a teacher to a virtual assistant. You must remember and you must always understand that entering a different career is not going to be easy. Don't be hard on yourself if you're not an expert. Take it one day at a time and always acknowledge that everyone is a beginner at some point. So,
True.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ree. How about you, Punky?
Yeah. Um, there's like what, two, 3 points. I hope I can remember them all because my train of thoughts tend to get derailed real quick. But shifting careers, it takes balls, you know, to to
Yeah.
to be in there and to commit yourself to it. Uh, it is not easy, yes. If but if you put your 2 feet together, you know, all at the same time, just face it. You know, when it's there, then might as well move forward, keep going on. It, um, I just connecting that to what happened to me, I really didn't, you know, take it seriously. I didn't take it seriously. Um, it was just something like, you know, might as well I'm gonna try applying for the job. And, a week after I got a call and all that. So might as well put my 2 feet there, like, let's get it on, right? And when you set a foot, that's where the that's where the challenges start. That's where that's when, things start to slap you in the face. Slowly,
Yeah.
slowly, harder, harder each day. So there's a lot of challenges to it, but um it's up to you on how are you gonna deal with it. For me, the best way to do it is just to face it. You know, so if I were to quote it, many of us would say, "Nandyan ka na eh," right?
Yeah.
So we're here. So what's left to do, right? And number two, career wise, when you're here, surround yourself with smarter people. That's for me is very very an integral part of you know um being in this career,
Yeah.
and most of all, enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Those tips are very helpful, especially for those who are planning to shift careers. And well, some would also like to dip their fingers into being a virtual assistant. So, what you said here in this episode is very helpful for those young people or not so young people who would like to venture into something new. And so, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Ree and Ponky. I appreciate your time and your sharing of insights and wisdom about navigating changes and shifting careers. And talking about change, I just wanted to share this quote as well that because sometimes you just need to be more discerning. You need to have an open mind and you need to have that wisdom. Accept the things that you cannot change. You have the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the strength to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. When you have that, then you're on the right track. Wisdom is so important. And of course, above all else, prayers. Thank you so much, Ree and Ponky, for being here on Life Expressions. If you like the episode, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, comment, or share this episode with your friends. And of course, if you have questions, feel free to comment on the comment section below, either on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, Shari Hinedi Elon. This is Life Expressions, and my guests with me are Ree and Ponky. Thank you. Till next time, here on Life Expressions.